Dallas. Now to Utah, where 2016 White House hopefuls are spending the weekend skeet shooting, hiking, and playing flag football. It's all part of Mitt Romney's annual invite-only E2 Summit, an opportunity for potential and announced presidential candidates to court mega donors, business leaders, and each other. Among those attending are Governor Scott Walker, John Kasich, and Chris Christie, Senators Lindsey Graham and Marco Rubio, and Carly Fiorina. Joining me now from Park City, Utah, is MSNBC political correspondent Casey Hunt and New York Times reporter Ashley Parker. They're both covering the GOP E2 Summit organized by Mitt Romney. And Casey is there, and as I can tell, Ashley can hear us too. So let's start with you, Casey, on this. What are some of the big takeaways here? Were some big deals made? Because as we were saying in the introduction here, it's about bringing the money that is so much needed by many of these campaigns that they're courting it so energetically.
Hi, Richard. Yes, well, this is the group of donors that helped bankroll Mitt Romney's campaign in 2012, and they're all here essentially trying to pick a winner. That's, if you think about it in the terms of investing, that's how a lot of these people look at the presidential race. They want to, if they're going to spend a lot of money on this, they want it to be on a winner. And you heard that in all of the speeches from these candidates throughout the course of the last 2 days. You had Scott Walker, Chris Christie, you had Marco Rubio, all essentially making the pitch that, you know what, we're the one who can ultimately take your dollars to the White House.
Now, as we look at this, Ashley, there are many White House hopefuls who are absent at this event. Is this Mitt Romney's way of attempting to try to influence the race, to put his name back in, trying to be the elder statesman, shall we say?
Well, last time he was here at this retreat, there was actually some talk of him running for a third time. We didn't hear that. Some donors sort of think he might like to be Secretary of State was sort of the pipe dream we heard. And he really tried to inject himself on foreign policy. He did this very elaborate sort of 24, 30 point on how President Obama has been one of the worst presidents in history when it comes to foreign policy. So there's certainly issues he cares about where he wants to help shape the debate.
Casey, what were some of the major issues discussed there?
Well, I think Ashley just touched on some of it. I think foreign policy is really a focus of this 2016 field. I think there's a sense that that's both something that they feel that Mitt Romney would have done better than President Obama has done, and it's something that it's something they need to focus on as they run against Hillary Clinton as the presumptive nominee. They need to be making an argument that that's where they need to go. I think this crowd was also concerned. You had a lot of questions about immigration in particular, and this crowd is different from traditional, or what we would think of as traditional Republican primary voters who maybe think that the path to citizenship is too far to go. This crowd is very business oriented. They think that, you know what, this is something we may need to keep our businesses going. They want to create a climate where they can, you know, in particular, it's easier for people with high credentials maybe to stay in the country for some of these companies. So I think you heard a lot of that. All of the candidates were forced to answer exactly how they would deal with that problem going forward.
Ashley, what was the tone like? How are the different candidates interacting with each other? That's always kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, well, you saw some of the candidates also. This was not quite them interacting with each other, but them interacting with donors. But they all sort of had these special panels and events where they tried to play up their specialties. So, for instance, Marco Rubio, who's actually very athletic, took a group of donors to play flag football early one morning. Lindsey Graham, who grew up in South Carolina, who, you know, started hunting with his father. Casey and I both went with him and a group of donors this morning going skeet shooting. So they were sort of trying to highlight their fun events and sort of casual stuff, but also that showcase their strengths.
Casey, how was your skeet shooting?
Ashley and I both actually shot skeet. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't hit anything.
Neither did I, but Casey definitely had better form.
You know, but it was good. Lindsey Graham ultimately won the little contest we had, so he is in fact a decent skeet shooter.
I have missed many sides of a barn, so I understand exactly what you guys are talking about. Thank you so much. I appreciate both of you being here today. Casey, thank you. Ashley as well. You folks have a great Saturday.
Thanks, Richard.